Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to another edition of Clocking In, where we talk about everything that's happening on the pit. And this one's going to be a bit of a doozy. This is going to be a fun one to talk about. There's a lot of emotions in this one, and of course, to break it down, it's myself, it's Chase. And Chase, how you doing this fine Thursday afternoon, early afternoon, late afternoon, I suppose?
I'm doing good. Good day off before I have to do jury duty tomorrow. So I'm very freaking so stupid. Like, I don't understand the point. I'm just going to go to the courthouse, not get selected for any cases, and just sit there for hopefully not too long. Hopefully I can get out of there at like 1 or 2 o'clock. And sometimes they keep you there till like 5. And I'm like, oh, what's the point? And stuff. But doing well. New episode of The Pitt tonight. Survivors ramping up season 50. My one of my favorite animes, Classroom to Elite, they dropped their newest season. Oh man, it hits like always, man. Trust me, if I could, I'd be doing a bunch of weeby Survivor shit on this channel. I'd be reviewing Survivor 50 every week on this channel if I could, and if I had time too, and stuff, man. But Classroom to Elite, that shit hits, bro. That shit hits, man.
You know who's a big Survivor fan, if I remember right? My sister-in-law, actually. She's a big Survivor fan.
I'm a huge Survivor fan. Like, it's like I my first season was like I didn't watch the first like 1 or 2 seasons. I think season 3 or 4 was my first season. So I jumped in like 2 years late. I've just been hooked ever since. And then I've obviously gone back and watched those previous seasons and stuff, but yeah, no, like Survivor, that's like I'll say 40 through 40, 41 through 49 have been rough watches because like they shortened the game. It's not as long as it used to be and stuff. And then also too, they relied so much on returning players, especially in the mid 30 seasons. Like it was kind of tough because they just kept relying on the same group of survivors to like boost interest and stuff. Like, yeah, it's like the casting of Survivor hasn't been the strongest, and a couple of those survivors, like I've known they've done traders on this channel. You probably heard some of the names from SP3 talking about the traders, like Boston Rob, Sari, who won a season of the traders, one of the greatest reality TV players of all time, to be honest. Like Sari is so good. She's only lost all her seasons that she's lost is just because of like twists and idols. Like especially like the later seasons. Like her first season, they couldn't bring her to the end because they're like, yeah, Sari hasn't done anything bad. And she lost the final immunity that would have like helped her get to the end. Then her second season, pretty much it was like they formed this group called the Black Widows, and it was like Parvati Shallow, who was also on Trader as well. They dominated the game and they just played everyone like a fiddle and stuff. They did all this crazy stuff. And then Parvati and Amanda, these two were like, yeah, we can't bring Sari to the end. Otherwise, she's just going to kill her. And what screwed Sari that season was this. So all the other seasons, they were doing final 3s. So they were doing final 3. So everyone thought, oh, it's going to be a final 3. And so Parvati and Amanda were like, fuck, we're bringing Sari to the final 3. But then they added a twist that it was going to just be a final 2. So it's like, of course. So Sari gets screwed because of this. Then Heroes versus Villains, she only gets eliminated because of a hidden immunity idol. It wasn't anything she did bad. It was just someone played an idol to protect themselves. And so she got voted out because that was the rest of the votes. Then her most recent exit, probably the most devastating in Survivor history. So this is a crazy exit. So this was the final 5. Everyone had an advantage except for Sari. So everyone was protected from being voted out except for Sari. And what the fucked up part was, no one on that season voted for her to get voted out. She only got voted out because she had no protection. And I was like, she got screwed. She was dominating Big Brother. And the only reason why she lost her season of Big Brother was because her son was also in the season and she was protecting her stupid ass son instead of just worrying about her own game. If she didn't have her son, she would have won that season of Big Brother. She is one of the greatest. And she does this. Like, everyone should know, get rid of Sari, get rid of Sari. They won't do it because she just plays dumb. And it's just like, how do you guys just not? And people idolize her. They want to work with her. They say, oh, if I work with Cherie, because she's so good at building relationships and she's so good at backstabbing. But people are not mad when she backstabs. Like you've seen some reality TV seasons. You know when people get backstabbed, they're like, oh, I hate this person. With Cherie, they're like, oh, good game, Cherie. Yeah, it's like, she's so good. And so I obviously you should know who I'm voting for, who I'm rooting for in Survivor 50. It's my girl Cherie. I need her to sit on the crown. If Boston Rob could get 4 chances to finally win a season, I need Cherie to win.
Well, you know, I haven't watched Survivor since I think probably the second or third season when I was a kid. But maybe maybe I'll have to tune in and see if my sister-in-law wants to watch it. But I will say, I think you're waxing poetic about Survivor, not just because you like Survivor, but because you don't want to talk about.
I really don't.
So let me ask. Let's start this way.
I can talk about all 4 seasons, 3 seasons of Classroom in the Lead, and the first 4 episodes of season 4, and tell you how Ayana Koji is the greatest mastermind.
Do you want to talk about? Do you want to? Because the thing is, in my view, what happens affects the entire episode.
Yeah.
So, do you want me to should we save all of that for the end and get through all the other stuff?
Save it for the end.
Okay. All right.
Let's not talk about it right now. Let's get through all the utter goofy plots where they want to be like Grey's Anatomy and have comedy skits in between. Let's get through all this crap. Then we can talk about the real main.
That'll work. Okay. Well, then in that case, we're going to start off with Dana and Emma. They're walking around the pit. There is a aggressive patient who grabs Emma, which is some fun foreshadowing for what we know will happen down the road. And we also can see that Dana is not thrilled. Like she is absolutely very defensive when it comes to anybody touching hospital staff, considering what happened last year. We will get a further update on that just to hammer this home about a little bit later. She's going to be talking with Langdon. And Langdon asks, did you whatever happened with did they catch the guy who hit you last year? And she says, yeah. And they asked me if I wanted to press charges, and it just kind of seemed like it was going to be more hassle than it was worth. So she opts not to press charges. So but we see this idea here that Dana, her guard, her wall is higher and higher, building higher and higher and higher. And I think that I don't know if this necessarily was the decision or they just wanted to inject a little bit of youth, but the idea of having Emma be a brand new nurse, it's her first day. I think it does a really good job of playing counterpoint throughout the course of this season for Dana. And I think over time, especially as we get towards our last 3 episodes of the season, which start tonight, I think we will get Emma being somebody who's going to pull Dana off that ledge, so the proverbial ledge. I don't think they're going to be up at the top of the roof like Robbie and Abbott were, but I think that it's that youthful energy, that still kind of unjadedness that hasn't been kind of beaten down by the system or just by life and all that kind of stuff. I think that's going to really help Dana, and you see that throughout the course of this specific episode. You see their kind of back and forth, their interactions, and we're going to see more of it down the road. But so I guess how do you, because I'm trying not to work around some of the big topic stuff, but how do you, so let's put it this way, without touching on that one topic, how do you feel so far about Dana and Emma's interactions throughout the course of the season, and then specifically a little bit of the stuff here?
Yeah, this episode was definitely like an Emma character episode, like building up her character and showing what type of person she is. While with Dana, you can tell she still has some past trauma, and she's still holding on to what happened to her last season, which of course, it is a traumatic experience getting assaulted by someone that was seeking for health and care. And she honestly made a mistake not pressing charges, in my personal opinion, and stuff, because she is still holding on to that grudge instead of finding a solution to the problem. She is just holding on to the grudge. And I don't know if that's just toughness in her or that's how she's built and natured, but you can tell Dana is trying to, break Emma down a little bit and show Emma, like get Emma that thick skin. But I don't think Dana really knows who Emma is as a person. And I think that's something that like Emma is much more stronger than we perceive. Like we should know that Emma is a much more like, yeah, she's it's just her first day at this hospital and stuff. But yeah, she's going to be nervous. Yeah, she's going to be freaking out a little bit, but in time she'll build and harden herself. But yeah, this was definitely more focused on building up Emma as a character and making Emma a character that hopefully people root for and cheer for going forward.
Yeah, I appreciated at one point in the episode when the donuts show up and Dana's like, these guys, like meaning the hospital admin, they won't pay us more, they won't provide proper safety. She's talking with Princess and with Emma, and she's saying, they won't pay us properly, they won't protect us, they won't hire more employees, but they'll give us donuts. And Emma's just like, but donuts are, you can see it in her face, she's like, but donuts are nice, like and it's like, yeah, that's kind of what the admin wants you to fall for. But we'll kind of go, let me see if we should do maybe like patient by patient kind of thing. So very briefly, just to get this out of the way, and for your
we don't need to talk about the oogly boogly. We get it. We know parents come, right? They're like,
no,
not this episode.
Jackson,
oh my God.
So he's now awake. He's spoken to the psychiatrist. The sister is saying that the parents are on the way. She's kind of like freaking out. She wants to know if she can take him home. And Javati unintentionally sort of says, like, we need to figure out what's wrong with him. And then the sister just breaks down. But
like all the other times she breaks down in the season. Yeah. How many episodes we've been talking about this, John? And then there's other crucial. What happened to the lady that fell in the car accident? We still don't have an update on her, but we can get plenty of updates on Jackson.
Listen, mental health is important, Chase.
No, mental health is important. We don't need to, but for the Pitt, we don't need to spend this guy. The admin would hate this guy, like taking up a room. Get That's him fair. The fuck out.
That's fair. I will say, and I think what I'll do is I'll get more into it. I think episode 7, because episode 7 is where it rears its head a little bit higher. But this was the first place where on my radar I was having the conversations in my head about the idea of involuntary psychiatric holds, because I, from the lawyer in me versus like my wife, who's the medical professional, she's the nurse. Yeah. We're having fun conversations about the ethics of involuntary psychiatric holds and things like that. But it does get more interesting in the next episode. So we'll save that for there. One thing that is staying interesting and is not helping the rash of emotions with the elephant in the room is Roxy. She has issues with her bedpan, and she's discussing the husband with Princess and talking about, what they do to escape. Princess saying, like, I get home, I turn everything off, I just put on Love Island, and I just watch that. And this woman Roxy is talking about how all the amazing things that her husband does. They are trying to get her discharged, and by they I mean Robbie really is like, okay, well, like, we got to get this person out of here. And McKay and some of the other people on the staff are like, we really, like, I don't know if that's really the best thing for her. She seemed like it's not like it's getting better. But Robbie has a good counterpoint where it's just like, well, we can't have her here forever. Like, at some point she has to go home. Like, this isn't hospice. And on top of that, she's not at the point where she would need hospice. She just needs to recover from this injury, and we start her on the medications to help reduce the probability of the seizures. So, but this moment here where she's talking to the husband, I was rewatching this episode earlier today, and Colleen's home from work. She had her evening shift the night before. She's sleeping, and when he's there talking, the husband's talking to Roxy about all of the difficulties of caring for her, but like he's willing to make that sacrifice, and he's saying, this is like, it's what I signed up for, right? For better, for worse, sickness and health. I literally almost just got up and went to wake Khalid up and give her a hug because I was just like and then on top of that, like I said, the elephant in the room. So she almost got woken up. But she's still asleep as we speak, and she'll be waking up soon to go to pickleball. But how did you feel about Roxy and I guess I'll save one of the other questions for a little bit later. But like, how do you feel about Roxy's story developing? We continue to see the interactions between her and the husband. We still haven't gotten the kids yet because we know the kids are on the way.
Yeah.
How did you feel about like this continuing development?
It was a very strong scene, especially because like like this shows like we talked about this with like in the earlier with the guy who had the like brain tumor and the ex-wife wanted to like kind of still be like the emergency contact. Like there's still always going to be love for that person no matter what happened and stuff. Like this shows like a very devoted man, like a man that like this is like one of those scenes where it's painting where it's like, guys, this is what we talk about when we say those scenes at the altar. We're not talking about stuff just because of it. Like this guy over here is literally like, I'm by your side. I don't care. Like you're my wife for a reason. Like because it is unfortunately a common theme that does happen where a loved one does suffer like cancer or get sick, and then unfortunately their partner or spouse, a lot of times it's spouses more than like actual boyfriends, girlfriends, they end up not wanting to be a part of that journey or be a part of it, because as much as it's taxing like it's taxing on the person going through the treatments and stuff body wise, but for normal individuals, you're asking them to shift their whole lifestyle into be doing that with that person. That's taxing on that person too. Like, yes, Roxy is sick. Yes, Roxy's going through much more pain than the husband, but now the husband has to alter everything. And one wrong shift could go wrong in whatever how he's feeling as a normal human being. And that's why, unfortunately, partners and people with spouses that get, when their loved ones do get sick, they end up finding someone else during this time and looking to, get back to normalcy. Because when people who have never battled through sickness have to help someone that's battling through a sickness, they just don't get it. They don't understand it. Their mental cognization, they don't understand how to deal with it. They just look at it as like it's a hindrance to my living experience. And that's where selfishness of human beings are coming in. This guy, we can tell, is totally selfless. Whatever's going on in his life, he is fighting in tooth and nail because he loves this woman and he wants this woman to come home and be with her family, because that's what he wants. That's what makes him happy. He doesn't care that his wife is sick and possibly dying. He only cares that she is home in the house that they live in with their kids. That's all he cares about.
It's like he's coming across like he's comfortable with the fact that she could die, but he just wants it to be at home.
Yeah, exactly.
And there is a certain, like, I do kind of understand it to a certain degree, like that idea of because when they first established this individual, she has been ill for some time. So from that perspective, as we go through the stages, grief, denial, anger, acceptance, all that kind of stuff, I think he's at acceptance, and he accepts that at some point in time, like we all have to accept at some point in time our spouse will pass away. We hope that, as terrible as it is, we probably hope that we pass before them so that we don't have to go through the pain of losing them, right? If there's the level of, or the layer of selfishness, if everyone's human. So, but there is that knowledge here, and he does have that level of acceptance, but he also is trying to barter, and he's still at the barter stage where it's like, if I can just have it happen in the house with the kid, like there, and maybe that's a good thing, maybe that's a bad thing from the perspective of, do you want your children to always walk past a room and go, that's the room where mom, finally, exactly. There's also that, right? Like there's pros and cons for every decision in life. So yeah, I mean, it is absolutely tough, and man,
Yeah, that's where his selfishness is kind of bad because like I understand where he's coming from. He just wants her to he just wants in the safety of his own home, but and stuff. But like for her, she probably doesn't want to die like in her own
yeah,
home. She probably
yeah,
doesn't want to like have to go through this again. Like let's say another seizure happens and then it's just like even worse and stuff. So like I understand where she's coming from, where it's like, no, she doesn't want to go home. What's the point? Like for her, like, yeah, and it sucks, but sometimes when you go through it, you just don't want to be home. You just don't want to be in that situation. You just want to be in a place where you know it's like care is always here and it's going to be fixed.
yeah, absolutely. Speaking of wanting things to get fixed, we have we have a motorcycle patient trauma who comes in who apparently was part of a motorcycle pyramid, which I honestly had forgotten they existed until this show reminded me that they
Yeah.
existed.
They
And I was like,
still,
oh
they
yeah,
still,
no,
they have one that does this in like near my house actually. Like there's like the Evil Knievel guy. Like he's
that's
like,
crazy.
yeah, he'll do shows like every third Saturday of the month or some shit, and then you
Mhm.
can watch. I like it's pretty impressive. He can do it. So
This gentleman had a bit of an issue with it, and so they're bringing him in, and I wrote down uh where hold on a second, where is it? I wrote down crap something about Dana giving OTC shit. I just wrote down Dana giving OTC shit because when he comes in, she's asking him about like, oh, were you wearing your helmet? And he's like, yeah, I was wearing my helmet. Then she just looks at Robbie and she's like, huh, it's a mirror. Some people still do that, and they're going back and forth. But this individual, he's having definitely a leg injury. They're trying to figure out what's going on. Joy's a little bit too eager to kind of get the ball rolling, but Robbie preaches a little bit of patience. They go through the whole program to see what's going on. Garcia steps comes in for a little bit. There's a little bit of that back and forth between Garcia and Santos, so there's something going on there. And over the course of time, we realize that this person is not like it's trauma and they're hurting, but they're not going to be like it's not going to be terrible. Like it can be solved, and it can be solved actually rather quickly in the sense of they got to get this person for a CT, figure out the full extent of the injury, and then they know that's not going to require a lot of surgery. So he's also talking about how he wants to get back onto the bike very quickly. They're like, yeah, no, you probably shouldn't do that. Donnie comes through in the pinch, helping to do some of the suture closing, and he gets kind of Whitaker puts him over by saying he's like the master, the god of different suture closings and things like that. And Donnie's like, yeah, because I see like 10 of these a day in triage. And he gets to have a good moment where he teaches Joy and teaches Ogilvy how to do the best way to close an injury of this size, how to bring it together. And I thought it was a really great moment simply because Donnie is a nurse practitioner. He's a nurse PA. And so like this idea that these are doctors, but they can still learn from a nurse. And then later in the episode, we get the whole idea of always listen to the nurses. They run the ER. Obviously, Colleen's favorite line from this season. But it was a fun moment. I liked this overall bit in this episode or this patient because it gets to further highlight the issues that Robbie's going through. It gets to highlight Joy's, idea of how we should be moving a little bit more quickly or like try to solve the problem as quickly as possible. It highlighted Ogilvy's sort of like, I just want to learn, but I have no people skills. It highlighted Whitaker being able to be kind of like the voice of reason. And it helped develop further this idea that Santos and Garcia have been fooling around because after at one of the times they visit with this individual, the initial time, they're coming out and of the trauma room, and Santos asks Garcia, "Hey, are you still coming over today?" And Garcia's like, "Yeah, I think I might have to take a rain check on that." And the clear like implication is like they've been fooling around. So I'm going to get into the Santos bits after this. But how did you feel about this motorcycle individual and sort of like how it highlighted a bunch of different moving pieces for some of our cast?
Yeah, we got earlier in the season who we paid a tribute to, the motorcycle guy that just died, that they did not say his praises and stuff. He was wearing his helmet and got killed. And then we need have another foreshadowing of another motorcycle patient who is a stuntman, who's a lunatic. And I love this guy because he was just like, oh yeah, well, once we patch up, I'm back at it. It's like, oh my god, this guy is just a crazy lunatic. He wants to get back on the bicycle and stuff. It it's a little foreshadowing of what may happen to Dr. Rabinovich if he decides to go on this vacation and decides to ride his motorcycle and stuff. But yeah, I did like that all the characters got their moments. Learned that Santos and Garcia were lesbians. Did not know this like at all. Like Santos, I could see. Dr. Garcia, I was like, oh wow, like sucks for the guys there. They probably have tried to shoot their shot and they have all failed at one point in time and stuff. So, but yeah, I did not know this and stuff. But very good character development and stuff. And obviously, we see more of their relationship in the future episodes of like how it is and stuff, and what Santos wants and what Garcia wants out of the relationship. But yeah, I liked all the little character beats here, and I like the little foreshadowing of, once again, another motorcycle patient. And it's like, oh, Dr. Robbie, don't go on this trip.
Don't go on this trip, buddy.
don't ride your bike.
But
do you think if he was doing it on a car, do you think everyone would be less worried if it was like he was just driving?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Less worried. Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you think
motorcycles are inherently more dangerous than cars simply because there's so many angles that you can't see. And you've ridden motorcycles. So
I talked about my motorcycle accident that no major injuries, just major backrash.
Yeah, if somebody said, "Hey, I'm going to take a 2,000-mile road trip to Alberta, Canada," they were like, "Oh, but I'll be in my SUV." Nobody's going to be like, "Oh yeah, that's that's super cool. Dangerous." Yeah, they'd be like, "Okay, yeah, sure." What they would say is, "Are you bringing another driver?"
Yeah.
In this situation, they're like, okay, it's a 2-wheel thing that's going to be weaving in, and you are going to be weaving in and out on a highway for 2,000 miles. You're probably like, are you going to be careful? There's no other driver. Are you going to be careful to take the rest stops, all that kind of stuff? So it's just
I tell people you don't fuck around when you're on, like, because like I would never like even like I would make sure, like, if I knew I was going to ride my bike for like even like if I was going to ride my bike to like LA or something, or Ventura, I would make sure like I was fully hydrated, made sure that I went to the restroom, my systems were clear and stuff. I had a full stomach and stuff, because you got to be alert. Because I wore like I didn't wear a full helmet. I wore like a good strong helmet that covered the sides, and there was a chin strap because I needed it for like the extra. Like I never wore my contacts either when I rode my bike, because like my contacts are just so hit or miss with the wind. So I always wore my glasses too. So like I could always just be able to see what was going on and stuff, which kind of was a hindrance sometimes. It is what it is. But yeah, that's why I don't ride. One, I'm afraid to fall again, and then two, it's like it's hard to, when you fall, like it's different because like like I've done professional wrestling training. That's different kind of falling than like freaking. Like you're signing up to fall,
right?
And
right.
With the motorcycle, yes, you can fall on it, but you do the proper training and execution where you won't fall on it.
Like famously, as it's been said in multiple combat sports, the hardest hits the ones you don't see coming. And if you're going to get into a motorcycle accident, like for a lot of the times, it can be something where you just don't see it coming. Like you could be the cause. Like you could like try to weave around something, you fuck up, like all kinds of things like that. But there's also, you just get hit. You just get hit. And so I can absolutely see like you have to learn how to fall, but like there's only so much you can do. Like,
oh, dude, especially like when you're weaving in and out of traffic, there are like angry people that just hate that you have this ability.
Yeah,
they will try to like bump you for no reason. They will do it.
I got annoyed at a motorcycle, a guy on a motorcycle not too long ago. Colleen and I were driving somewhere on 90 and the highway, one of the highways here, and not that we had we were like a traffic jam or anything like that. It was just regular kind of flow. But this dude just shoots down the shoulder. And I'm like, bro, what do you do? Like anybody, like as soon as you try to weave back in, because there's it's not a traffic jam, you have to be able to time that perfectly. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
we also saw that later on regular side streets, like not the highway. And I was like, this is even dumber. On like at least on the highway, I can kind of understand it, but on the side streets, I'm like, no. In Chicago, I'm like, you're not doing that. Like if you're doing this in side streets and like I don't know, Oklahoma City or something like that, maybe, or a smaller city or something like that, sure. But in River north side of Chicago, like that's you're asking for like, and of course I've got the nurse next to me who's just like this guy, and her father, my father-in-law has a motorcycle, rides motorcycles. Her grandfather has a motorcycle. He has a motorcycle shop. Like he repairs motorcycles for friends and people who he knows. So like Colleen has a lot of experience when it comes to the anxiousness or the concern that somebody might have for a motorcycle accident or like a motorcycle thing waiting to happen. So like she is like when she sees stuff like that, she gets even more annoyed about it than I do. But speaking of people who are being careless, and speaking of people who are not showing like not taking the time to do things properly, we're sticking with our favorite doctor to hate. You see why I had her like fourth from last season? Like you gotta have somebody to hate, and if you're gonna have somebody to hate, they got to be good at being hateable. And they are doing the Santos rehab that is part of this season. But even when you're going through rehab, you're just going to stumble and fall. And this is an episode where Santos stumbles and falls. She has three technically if you include the things with Garcia, but two big major things as it pertains to patients. The first is that she is continuing to have problems with charting. She has Whitaker is talking to her about something that we will talk about a little bit later, and she barely listens to him. But then when it comes to her charting, she's still behind in her charting. She's tried to use Al Hashimi's AI app, and it causes problems because we have somebody from the OR from surgery come down and say, hey, you sent us a patient, with an Ilias patient, and there was the issues with the charting. There were things listed that weren't supposed to be there. There were things that should have been listed there that weren't there. What the hell's going on? And of course, with the person who they come to, it's not Al Hashimi. The person that they know is Robbie, and so they go to Robbie because he's also, while he is this, he and Al Hashimi are technically speaking equals in this moment. He also is the chief of ER medicine at the Pitt. So technically speaking, he outranks Al Hashimi. For the purposes of the shift. They are equals. So this individual goes to Robbie, brings this up. Robbie is like, yeah, I've been waiting for this one. Robbie's like chomping at the bit to start taking down the AI thing. He gets a little bit on Santos, but it's much more on the AI thing that he's getting on Santos's case. Al Hashimi gets summoned, and Al Hashimi points out, she's like, yeah, I mean, you're supposed, like, it saves time versus dictation, but it's not foolproof. You're still supposed to go back and proofread everything. And she's like, she points out that there's a 2% error rate. And I love the other doctor. The other doctor's just like, I don't give a shit, bruh. Like, like we got people to take care of. And so you can tell Al Hashimi's like, you can see it in her face. She looks over at Santos like, this motherfucking bitch. Like, you're getting me in trouble. And then Santos is almost falling asleep. Right as this is happening, she's falling asleep. And Robbie's like, Dr. Santos. Like, he does a little bit of that. Princess walks by, gives her a 5-hour energy, which I thought was funny because she goes, there's still 6 hours left. So it was like one shy. But then also, as part of this, Santos continuing to eyes not on the prize, right? Not having that focus that needs to happen. And as Whitaker would say, if you got to stay late to finish your charting, you got to stay late to finish your charting. She also doesn't really give the time of day to their patient who is deaf. And this patient requires sign language, requires an interpreter. And Santos can't really give this person the time of day. Princess is trying to talk to the person with sign language, but she's not the best when it comes to sign language, and nor should she need to be. Like, they're supposed to have interpreters. Like, you can gain familiarity, but like they're not supposed to be like, oh well, we have princess, we don't need to.
They had an interpreter in triage. Where's this person?
Yeah. So like they have Princess kind of running ASL interpretation. Santos can't give this person the time of day and just kind of leaves. And Princess is forced to apologize on behalf of the doctor and kind of say to the patient, she's a little cranky today. and the patient takes it in stride, luckily. How did you feel about Santos's continued development? Like they're still building her up for the fall, but they already know that she is falling. Sure, she has fallen, so like we have to try to we have to both bring her up to bring her down for the season, but also for the over the course of the 2 seasons, we have to slowly be bringing her up. So how do you feel about this episode as it pertained to Santos and this little AI spat and her issues with the patient?
Yeah, first off, I want to say 5-hour energies, they work longer than 5 hours. Those things are like, I cannot, my coworkers will get on me when they'll see me drink like 2 Monster Zero Energy Ultras a day. Like they'll be like, Chase, and especially because I have colon issues, I understand they're doing it in good health.
I'm going to say, I don't think that's good for you, bud.
No, it is. It's fine. Don't worry. I function just fine. Don't worry about me, John. I can do
it. He says while drinking a caffeinated diet.
Yeah, you're drinking a big goal. Every episode you have a big goal. Whether it's true, you always have a big goal.
It's kind of my signature, but how many diet sodas.
How many points do you have at 7-Eleven? You must be like the point keen over there.
Actually, I know because I was just there to get this. Just over 23,000.
Oh, nice. Do you get free big gulps at a certain point? Like, is it like?
So here's
like
the thing.
How many times do you get the free big gulp?
So here's the thing. I'm supposed to sign up for this one because like it says like if every 6th thing you get the 7th one free, and I just never sign up for it.
What for what 7-Eleven?
Yeah. If I get 6 of these, I would get the 7th one free.
Yeah.
And I probably get, I would say, 3 to 4 of these a week.
Wait. So you go to 7-Eleven, have points, but you don't sign up?
I have points. I not only do I not use the points like to redeem anything, but also I could sign up for the 7-Eleven like gold membership that would give me every 6 drinks. You could get 7th one free, and I don't do that either.
Well, you should at least use the points. I mean, they have deals. What are you doing? This is the salesman in me trying to.
I know. I can tell.
I'm like, what is this? Like, you're not using your points correctly. I can tell you this right now. But yeah, no, they'll get on me. But 5-hour energies, these things are like crack. I remember one time in college, I pulled an all-nighter. Like like anyone has it when they're in college. And I went to my gas station that's like right down the street. And I said, you know what? I'll grab 2 of these 5-hour energies. My idea was I had to take this test, skip my afternoon class because I was well ahead of my afternoon class. Like I was like, I didn't miss any days and everything like that. I did like this extra credit thing. So my grade was like higher than an A+. And if I would have skipped that afternoon class, I was not a good student. It was just this class was one of my classes that I excelled in. It was one of the few classes where I was like, I did really well in. So I knew I was like, I can skip one day. It won't hurt me. Nothing's due. I think it's just something like I forgot what we were doing. So I was like, my dumb ass took 1 5-hour energy and I was still feeling sluggish. And I was like, you know what? I still got this test. I'm going to just pop this second one right away. So I go and I pop this second one. In the middle of my test, I am jittery like a mother. Yeah. Oh, dude, I was afraid because we were doing it on the Scantron and stuff. And so I was afraid that like I was going to fill out the Scantron wrong. Thankfully, I did well on that test. I think I got like an 86 or whatever.
See, I don't know. In life, I've never needed energy drinks. I don't like coffee. I don't like Monsters or Red Bulls or anything like that. Like if I need to wake up at a certain time, I just 1 set an alarm, but 2, my body for whatever reason will naturally wake me up 5 minutes before the alarm goes off. And
I think what fucked me up was like I used to not like caffeine, but then when I was starting to work out heavy, I took pre-workouts and pre-workouts have caffeine. Yeah. So I think that's what fucked me up. Like before I didn't need caffeine. Now it's like caffeine is mandatory because pre-workouts have caffeine in it.
Because like I don't like if I'm drinking so I only drink diet sodas, but like I'll drink caffeine free or caffeine. It has no bearing to me whatsoever. But what I do now is if I'm gonna have late at night, if I'm gonna drink a soda after 8 p.m., I try to make sure it's a caffeine free one. Just because like getting to sleep is difficult. It can be difficult for me, but like waking up is fine. And once I'm up, I'm up. Like I'm
Yeah,
never like I don't even
me
need
too.
like I don't need anything. Like as soon as my feet hit the ground, I am ready to go. It doesn't
Oh,
matter what time. It doesn't matter what time of day it is. Like if you told me we need to wake up at 4 o'clock to get started on a road trip to Alberta, Canada, right? Like if we were all in a car with Robbie at 3:55, my feet would hit the ground. I would wake up, I'd swing like legs out, feet hit the ground, I'm up, good to go, 100%. And
that's
and
how
the
I
thing is,
am in Vegas.
I've always been like that even when I was a kid. And then I don't
Yeah.
think probably the army did not like do anything bad for that. Like it only helped it, like the ability to just get up and go.
Yeah, because like
So
when
I don't
I
know.
grew up on a farm, it was always waking up early. So my
Right.
body got adjusted to like, oh, you just wake up and then you just do your thing and stuff. Like
Mhm.
you didn't think you were tired and stuff. Yeah, I'm the same way. Like I literally can operate. It's horrible to say this, but like 2 hours of sleep is good enough for me to operate and function like a normal human being. Like I really don't need that much sleep. Like in Vegas, my friends are always amazed that like I don't sleep in. Like they'll be like, "Yo, Chase is already up gambling. It's 7. Like, what the fuck? Like, we were out until 4 a.m. How is he moving and stuff?" And like, I'll just have one day where it's just like the exhaustion will catch up to me, and then
Mhm.
I'll just crash for that whole day. And me crashing is like, I just turn on a TV show I've watched a bajillion times, put it on as background noise, go in and out of sleep, and as the show is playing, and then like I finally will feel like well rested. But yeah, 5 hour energy is not good for you. The AI thing, that was obviously like, kind of like for those people that hate AI, like, haha, see, AI is bad. But, Dr. Alshimi said you're supposed to find proof it. It's not, there's not really errors with it. And look, I'm not some huge AI defender. I just hate the people that just hate AI for like every little thing. Like, I just hate AI when they use it for graphics and videos. That's the only thing I hate about AI. And when they write scripts with it. Like that's the only thing I hate about it. Everything else about I think AI is a good tool. But yes, there's going to be flaws in it. It's a fucking robot. It's a fucking program. Like it's not going to be perfect. And so that's on Dr. Santos for not doing a good job with her charting. Like this just shows that Dr. Santos is being very inept. And they did a great job this episode showing how inept the character is right now because she one is still talking. I must be a horrible typer, still talking on that stupid telephone when she should just be typing. Just use your hands and your fingers to type. It's really not that hard. Must be horrible at it. Must be doing the with their little tippy tap fingers. And then, like the deaf patient, that shit really pissed me off. Well, it also pissed me off too because they had an interpreter in triage. Where is this person? Like, are you telling me there's another deaf person that this person's talking to, or did they clock out? Like, they didn't explain this, and so, like that's what frustrated me the most. It was like this is very like makes no sense. Like it's just more of like we just need a reason for Dr. Santos to be pissed.
Yeah.
So let's just have her like go off on the deaf patient. When I'm like, okay, like I get it. You want Dr. Santos to be the bad guy, but in this part of the episode, I was like, yo, this is on the show because they clearly showed they had an interpreter on deck, and then all of a sudden there's no interpreter on deck. Like it's only been 2 hours. Like, well, did this person clock out? Like, if they would have added a line to say like, oh yeah, she the interpreter's done for the day. They actually had a short
Right.
shift, like because of the holidays or something. But
Yeah.
no, there was no reason why there wasn't this interpreter available when they were clearly available earlier in the season. So that's what frustrated me the most. It just felt like it was like writing to make Santos look bad when it's like, okay, like, do you think I was stupid? Do you think I was dumb and I don't remember what happened the last 2 episodes? Like that's how it felt like to me. It's like this is where it's like, like us being wrestling fans, like we know like the annoyance of when the wrestling treats us like we're idiots and we're just like oh, I watched this 2 weeks ago. I know what happened. Like, why are you acting like I don't remember? Like what? Like we're just gonna forget that Triple H cost Batista this match? Like, what are we doing? Like, it's like, ugh.
We do have some moments of levity with the hot dog guy and Langdon
Oh,
and the food
this was
competition.
disgusting. You know what's fucked up too? I was eating hot dogs when this episode originally aired. Like, that's one of my very like like hot dogs actually have some good benefits. Like if you want to like lose weight and stuff with protein and stuff, like there's some good benefits to it. It's been very helpful to me being having pleasure foods that you can eat. And I was like, fucking it, dude. I
Bro,
chose a long time to eat a hot dog.
when Donnie's like, hey, there's a like Wiener World or whatever truck outside. You want a Frankfurter or whatever the fuck truck outside? And Langdon's just like, I think I'm good on hot dogs for the rest of my life. I was like, you know what? I can understand that. I think what was it? Yeah, it's just it's funny as hell. We also have we also before we get into one of the other big ones, we have an update also with the cellulitis patient that they thought had MRSA and Robbie cut through. We get an update there that they're going to do a above the knee amputation. So despite everything Robbie tried to do to get them to move faster, they're still going to, that woman is still going to lose the knee underneath or lose her leg from the knee down, which is crazy.
How's she going to work at the diner?
Say again?
How's she going to work at the diner?
Well, listen.
Whatever happened to the couple that got into a fight? We still no update on this wife. Like, fuck her. We'll get updates on Jackson, but the wife that just passed out in trauma that they didn't look at.
You hate this Jackson.
No, it just frustrates me that this is like the one storyline we get consistent updates on, but there's other storylines just as interesting, and they're just like no update. Yeah. Like they're just dead.
We throughout the course of this episode, we do get a little bit further back and forth between Robbie and Al Hashimi. Like they're continuing to butt heads, and it's starting to build. But chief and foremost, the way that they butt heads is over our second to last event to talk about, and that is our prisoner patient, Gus. He is on the road to recovery. He will not require surgery, but he will require a whole bunch of just care. And so Al Hashimi is correctly pointing out that this individual has nutrition issues, and they're not going to get help. They're not going to get better nutrition at the prison. They may get decent medical care from the perspective of somebody who's making sure that the wounds are being treated properly, dressings changed, and things like that. But they're not going to get the building blocks that the body needs to really recover. So she wants to hold on to the guy and keep him in the hospital. And Robbie's like, we don't got space for this dude. Like we just do not have space for this guy. And Al Hashimi correctly points out the hypocrisy of the fact that Robbie will have the unhoused patient still there, and is willing to kick out the prisoner. And Robbie's counterpoint does kind of make sense in the sense that the unhoused patient, if they put him back out on the street, quite literally would have no one. Whereas the prisoner, at the very least, has the prison infirmary and so on and so forth. He has care. It may not be the level of care that we want, but it is a not zero, and it is a number that is above zero. And while they're having this conversation, Dana hears this. She goes to talk to the guy. Jesse is leaving the room, tells her, hey, this is a guy who is from Pittsburgh native. And so she has like a little bit of a bonding moment. And then we're not entirely sure what happens, like how exactly this happens. But because there is an issue with his pulse ox and his oxygen levels and things like that, and his breathing, Robbie says to the prison guard, or the guy the corrections officer who brought the Gus to the ER, that Gus is going to have to stay. So Al Hashimi kind of gets what she wants, and Dana is put in a little bit of a pickle there because Robbie asks her, hey, like, what, you did something. What did you do? Mm-hmm. And she won't tell him exactly what she did, which I thought was very interesting because in two separate instances, we see Dana do things that arguably she should not do. And I think it's interesting because we will see the combination of those two things down the road. And so I thought that was very interesting in the sense that we are having Dana kind of break away from being in lockstep with Robbie on many things. But also, we are continuing to see this pushback between what exactly it means to have somebody in the hospital and to go above and beyond the care. Because earlier we have McKay trying to get Robbie to keep Roxy there, and Robbie's like, we can't. We need to get, because interestingly, Robbie is looking at it from the perspective of people in, people out, which is not what he was doing last season.
Yeah.
But he is doing it here partially because of the Westbridge incident. And he knows that they're getting more people, and they're going to get more people than they would normally. So he is actually doing the things that Gloria would want him to do. The hospital admin would want him to do. She would want him to be patient in, patient out. He's trying to do that simply because he understands that a logjam is coming. It's coming. And he's like, we got to move these people in and out. The others are the ones who are like, hey, we want to give the best care that we can. So I thought it was interesting, the kind of role reversal, but also this idea that Robbie's getting a little bit more difficult to work with. He's becoming a little less caring. It's not translating properly what he's trying to say. How did you feel about Gus the prisoner in general, but also this back and forth between Al Hashimi? Like, there's also the AI stuff with her and him. Then there's the stuff with McKay and Roxy. She's also involved a little bit on that. And now this here about keeping him when Robbie's saying, we got to get this guy out.
Yeah, because I think we'll learn more about how Robbie is in like later episodes. But from this episode, it clearly is like Robbie is kind of either burnt out or checked out. And he just is trying to do his job proficiently. Because let's be real, Awashimi getting brought in, it's almost like kind of testing Robbie. Are you going to come back? Or is it like, or are you going to be the attendee when you come back to the show? Like when you come back from your sabbatical, like it is kind of like, someone is testing him. And so he is trying to, do a good job to say, hey, on my last day, look at the marks. I got the rooms and Westbridge was down. So there's a lot of pressure on him, but also too, it's just, hey, look, Roxy, she's clear to go home. Have her go home. This prisoner, he's going to get the care there. Have him go. We need rooms for all the backlog that we're about to get from this Westbridge incident because they're shut down. So let's go. But, Dana and Awashimi showing care for this prisoner and, wanting to make sure that he is going to go back to at least the present a better, healthy man and having the proper nutrition in him and stuff. Dana obviously, messed up his charting of his blood oxygen, saying that, he needs to stay a little bit longer and everything, which is fine, I guess. Like, I don't know. It's whatever. Yeah. I'm not going to get on the case of that and stuff. But, the prisoner to Gus, like, what do you do besides like flirt with Dana for a little bit and talk about, we used to go on to this bar in Pittsburgh and stuff. And Dana's like, oh, yeah, that's where I had my first kiss. And then stuff like that. And then that's what made her want to keep him. Like, oh, yeah, this guy. It's just like a regular Pittsburgh boy. He's just in jail. It's like, what?
Just a fellow Yinzer.
Yeah, just a fellow Yinzer. He's in jail. Who knows what he's in jail for? But he's in jail. We just know.
Yeah, that's the other thing I think it's funny. Like, we don't know what he's in jail for.
Yeah, he could be in jail.
On the flip side, to Al Hashimi's, like, I guess her argument would be like, it really doesn't matter what he's in jail for. Like, we should still treat this person as a human being, which is the hope, right? Like, that's the hope that's what should happen.
Yeah, so it's fine that he's getting the treatment and stuff. But yeah, you could tell Dr. Robbie, he is so like either checked out, burned out, or he's just he is clock watching. It was like me before I went on my WrestleMania trip last season. I had one shift before I had to go, and I was just clock watching the whole time and stuff. I was just doing the bare minimum to survive that shift. I was like, I'm just here for the 4 hours and that's it.
Hey, yeah, do what you gotta do sometimes. There was one other little thing that I was just gonna kind of gloss over it, but somebody sent me a Variety article that is relevant to it. So we have, very quickly, we have Mohan, who Slow-Mo, she's able to help out better with an elderly patient. And we had seen previously somebody mention geriatrics to her. We are going to see it again in a later episode in this season. And there was an article from Variety today that says that Aisha Harris, who plays the senior night shift resident, Dr. Parker Ellis, has been promoted to series regular going into the show's third season. In addition, Supriya Ganesh, who has played senior resident Dr. Samira Mohan since season one, will depart the show after season 2. So season 2 will be the last time we see Mohan, unless she comes back for slow-mo, unless she comes back for like a guest appearance. And Variety reports, according to an individual with knowledge of the situation, Ganesh's exit is a story-driven decision. Given that Pittsburgh Trauma Medical is a teaching hospital, it is normal for residents to come in and out. Mohan has also spent part of season 2 trying to determine what the next phase of her career will be once her residency ends. So, yeah, our time with slow-mo.
Spoil what's happening, like Jesus.
I mean, well, the thing is, by the time we got to it more, at least, well, I mean, as our review show got further down the road to where it becomes a little bit more obvious that slow-mo may be moving on. I don't know if I would remember this, so I just wanted to try to get into it. But yeah, no, I mean, a Variety kind of spoiling it, I guess.
Yeah, no, I saw that article and I was gonna send it to you. I was like, maybe I'll ask him before the show if we were gonna touch on it, and then like you touched on it, which is fine by me. I can tell you guys this: Chase Oliver doesn't care about spoilers. You can tell me a spoiler, and I'm like, that's fine. I don't care. Like it doesn't take away my enjoyment. Like I'm a big. How was the execution of it? Like
That's
if
fair.
the execution was good, like for example, if I got into wrestling,
yeah, I would say it depends. For me, it just depends on the spoiler or like the thing, right? Like, because like if somebody told me, like, if I was gonna watch a murder mystery and somebody told me who the murderer was, then I might be a little bit like, nah, you didn't need to do that.
Well,
but like,
I'm just using this as an example. But if I got into wrestling and you said Chase, Batista and Triple H, one of the greatest feuds ever, and I'll be like, okay, who wins? Batista. And then I watched the feud and it sucked. I'm gonna be like, you're stupid. But thankfully, Batista versus Triple H does not suck. It's one of the greatest feuds of all time. Some YouTuber actually has like a compilation of the whole feud. Mm-hmm. I watch it at least once a year just because, and I just remind myself, I'm like, it can be like this. Professional wrestling can be like this. Why can't everything about?
Okay, I will say this though: that one WrestleMania match that they had, the recent one.
No. We're talking about WrestleMania 21. We don't talk.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like their entire.
No.
Okay,
just the build up from WrestleMania 21, dude. When people talk about cinema, when they're in the elimination chamber, Orton RKO's Batista. Triple H could easily break up the pinfall, but he slumps back down.
I know about that one, Chief.
Oh, so good. I'm like, this is so good. No, the best. This was what I was like because when I was little, like I knew storylines, but growing up on the Attitude Era and WCW, like you're just used to the crash TV of it, right? But yeah. I started to pick up on storyline cues when I was little, like and stuff. And I remember in 2005 when they were having that Survivor Series match, and if they win, they all become GMs for the thing. And Triple H was like, "Yeah, Dave, when you become GM, what are you gonna do?" And Batista's like, "I haven't thought about it." "Well, just remember, you're not going after me, right?" He goes, "Never." And then Triple H leaves, but he leaves the world title. And Batista just looks at the world title, and they just leave it there for a minute, and the crowd pops as he's looking at the world title. It's like, how come you guys can't do this shit anymore? Like, Triple H, you were in the storyline. How do you not know how to book this shit? You were in this great storyline. It was such a simple, like, he just looks at the world title, and the fans, they didn't care about it. But the minute he looked at the world title, they went, yeah. I'm like, this was a backstage segment. Like, it just makes no sense. But yeah, I'm a big execution fan. Like, you can tell me like a plot twist or a spoiler, and I'm like, cool. If the execution sucks, then I don't like it. Then I'm pissed. But if the execution's good, no, it's all right. Cool, you spoiled it on me. But as long as and also too, I tend to love the journey to get to the spoiler. I'm like, okay, let me see if this is worth the hype. Let me see if this was worth all the anticipation.
See, yeah, for me, it's just like if it's a like if I was getting ready to watch Knives Out for the first time, and somebody just tells me what happens or tells me like what that would annoy me, because for me, I'm watching I watch murder mysteries to try to figure out the
Oh
puzzle.
yeah.
And I also watch it from like the writing standpoint, because I want to write murder mysteries. How are these people setting things up? So like that's why I like watching this multiple times. That's also why like the Scream series isn't like, it's not scary to me, because I don't even think of Scream as a horror series. I think of it as like a whodunit that happens to
Yeah,
involve some scary elements.
yeah. It's a
So
murder.
like I'm
It's
like
like a slasher. It's like a
right,
slasher.
because every time it's not like this uh Jason Voorhees motherfucker or a Mike Myers guy, like or Freddy Krueger, like
Yeah,
that kind of where
where
we
Jason
already
Voorhees
know
went
in
into
this
the
situation.
lake
Like
and he got possessed.
we consistently don't know who Ghostface is going to be. So yeah, I mean, for spoilers for me, I think it depends on what the thing is. Like if it was a Marvel movie, I probably wouldn't give a shit, because I can kind of
Yeah,
figure out like what the booking is going to be for a Marvel
like,
movie.
oh man, like you're telling
Like
me that
if
Doctor
somebody like
Doom is just Tony Stark from a different universe?
well, yeah, but
Wow.
it's like if somebody told me Doctor Doom is going to be very successful in the Doomsday movie, I'd be like, well, yes, he has to be,
I hope
because
so.
otherwise, what would be the point? On top of that,
Yeah,
I already
because
know Secret Wars is coming.
you
It's like when they told me that Infinity War was happening, but they also told me that there was going to be an untitled Avengers movie a year afterwards. I was like, okay, so they're going to be they're going to be down really bad at the end of this Infinity War movie. It has to be, because
yeah,
otherwise, why will be the point of one a year later?
yeah,
So
because
you know, like
they can't do Doomsday what they did with Kane, where Kane got boxed up by Ant-Man, and then it was like,
bro,
I don't want
he got pieced up by fucking ants. I don't know.
to.
You couldn't rehab him after that.
Yeah,
They
dude.
forced them. They put themselves in that position.
Dude,
But
Jonathan Majors getting boxed up by Ant-Man, and it's like, bro, you're letting Michael B. Jordan just box you up a month before. Like, that's fine. That makes sense. He's Adonis Creed. But then you're letting Ant-Man fucking box you. Like, when have we seen
no,
Ant-Man
it's not even
box?
Ant Man. It's the ants. It's not
No,
even Ant Man that beat him
but
up.
in
It's
the
the ants.
one-on-one, that's the shit that pissed me off, because Ant-Man was going fist to fist with this guy. And
That's fair. That's fair.
when have we seen Ant-Man with these kind of hands, bro? Like,
He's
this is
a
ridiculous.
thief. He's an engineer who's a thief.
Yeah, like, I'm not saying Ant-Man can't fight, but it's like, yo, Ant-Man ain't supposed to have hands like this. Like, this guy was straight up throwing combinations like he was Captain America. I was like, oh man.
Maybe he watched. He was around Cab for enough time. He watched a little bit. He learned a little bit.
How, bro? Like, that shit still pissed me off. That I can't watch Quantumanium because of that. That's the only reason why I can't watch it. It's because of this jobber shit, man. Made him look like, dog. They built him up like he was supposed to be like this
I can tell you're stalling.
yeah, I am. They built him up like Rusev, and then all of a sudden he just loses to Kofi Kingston. Like, fuck is this?
I can tell you're stalling.
Yeah, why not?
Because there's
No,
one thing. There's
no.
one thing.
Well, it's been great, John. I've enjoyed this episode.
Pile driver finisher coming in and going, "Kang, it's supposed to be 1,000 years in advance." We're like,
Yeah, exactly, dude. Like, can you just imagine if the little Miss Marvel shows up, the little girl, if Ant-Man's boxing you up, little girl Miss Marvel is gonna box you up, bro. Like,
yo, pile driver, don't let him try to stall this further.
no, it's all right, Pile Driver. You have any other questions? And we can answer any question, Pile Driver Finisher.
Chase will start telling you about his life.
Yeah,
when he was 5 years old.
We will be here. We can do a true picks, true off season where we do 3 hour, 4 hour streams until we talk about this. It's fine by me. Oh, I don't want to talk about this, but
so
it has to be talked about.
This episode is the highest rated episode of season 2. It has a 9.0 on IMDb.
Is this the one that caused the war with the Breaking Bad fans? Or no, that was the
no, that was something else.
The other HBO series.
Yeah, it was Last of Us or some shit like that.
No, it was what's it called? The Knights of the Seven Kingdom or
okay.
Yeah.
But the reason why this is the highest rated episode, despite the fact that they are now this week, it's going to be episode 13, is because of how this episode starts, the storyline throughout, the impact that this storyline will have on not just this episode, but the remainder of this shift and all these characters' lives, and how this ends. And that was the thumbnail. That is the background image that we've had. We ended episode 5 with the pulse ox indicator on Louie seemingly coming loose. And Langdon had rushed over there to try to figure out what was going on. He realized that Louie had not taken off accidentally or intentionally. The indicator, the monitor, Robbie comes running in. They are trying to save this man's life because he's crashing. And this episode started with Robbie and Langdon making desperate attempts to save Louie, but there's really nothing that they can do. He's having a really bad pulmonary hemorrhage from his liver failing, and there's blood in his lungs. They're trying to intubate, and the blood is coming out through the tube. There's nothing. There is nothing that they can do. And I think what was interesting or beautiful about it was that the way they tell us that there's nothing that they can do and that Louie is going to die is Dana and Emma coming over. And Dana, she meets Robbie's eyes, and Robbie's just shaking his head. And we talked earlier about Dana's kind of professional composure and Emma's emotionally, she's there, she's available kind of thing. And this sort of walls that Dana's building, and Emma could be somebody who could help her not build the walls so high. And this scene is a beautiful way to kind of kick that off, because you can see on Dana's face the idea that Louie passing is going to be terrible. It's going to be terrible for her. It's going to be terrible for everybody who works there. And so it's really bad for Perla. And Perla is shaken. She's there trying to help Robbie and trying to help Langdon. She is shaken, and she's saying she's going to clean up the body. And Dana says, no, I'll work with Emma to do it. And in hindsight, some of the language that Dana uses, I'm thinking to myself, wow, it's really harsh. She says, I'll teach her how to clean up a dead body. This is how we do this with the dead body, And I'm thinking, this is, and then I realized Dana's not doing this because she's cold or callous. She's doing it because she's trying to compartmentalize. She's trying to be objective about it and not say Louie and not say, because I think she understands that if she says that, she will lose her fucking mind. And so they have a scene where Dana is showing Emma how to clean a deceased individual's body and prep it. And Emma's asking questions, which, she should be doing.
Yeah.
But Emma also doesn't understand the depth of connection that Louie had with the staff. It's her first day. And we only saw one day last season, but we all understood that Louie is super important to everybody in the ER, no matter what shift, whether it's night shift, day shift, afternoon, whatever, because he's such a frequent flyer. He knows all of them. They know him. So Emma doesn't know. So she's asking the questions that she should be asking, and Dana's answering, but Dana, you can see Dana's trying to just be let's just get through this. And Dana is, while she's compartmentalizing, she's also taking on the sacrifice of doing it so that Perla doesn't have to. And that's what it means to be a charge nurse sometimes. That's what it means to be the head nurse, the OTC of nursing. You have to take that you have to shoulder that responsibility so that you are protecting the people around you. And they eventually are, get him cleaned up. And at one point, Dana is describing to Emma, we tuck the sheets in a certain way, but we leave his hand. We leave the hand loose, and Emma asks why, and Dana says, so the family has something to hold on to. And we have a moment where earlier, shortly after, where they're trying to and Emma's like losing it, like the idea of like, and it's not because like of Louie in particular. It's more the idea in general if somebody passed away and we're gonna have this person's hand there so that the family is somebody to hold on to. She asks if he has family, and Dana says everybody has family, but like whether or not that family is gonna be here, whether they can find that family, we don't know. And we find out that if nobody comes to claim Louis, that he'll be cremated and put into, in essence, a mass grave. And that just sounds terrible, like on its face. And then you think about how many people would end up in something like this, not just in Pittsburgh, but in Chicago, where I am, in Los Angeles, where you are, in New York, in Miami, in San Francisco, in all of the cities and all across the country and around the world. It's terrible. Like, it just sounds terrible once you start thinking about it. We have a moment where Perla is trying to decompress about it. She's sort of talking to Princess and to Donnie, and Ogilvy's fucking ass comes around the corner and he's like, "Oh, the guy with the alcoholic?
Yeah, no, another drunkard died or something.
Yeah, he's like another, and Perla's Pearl's gonna stab this motherfucker. Like, she's gonna kill him. And I think it does a great job because like it sort of is a compare and contrast where he doesn't know Louis's importance to the ER. Emma didn't know the importance to the ER either. But the way Emma treated Louis passing versus the way Ogilvy treats Louis passing, there is a sort of, you better understand the callousness that Ogilvy has, or more importantly, the lack of awareness. It's complete lack of awareness. We have a moment where right after that, Whit, who doesn't know, Whitaker, who is technically the treating physician, does not know that Louis has passed. He's walking the halls and he's getting ready to, like, he's saying something to Perla, and he goes, "Oh, I got to check on Louis." And then Perla says, "Nobody told you." And Whit goes, "Told me what?" And before she can tell him, Ogilvy just goes, "Oh, he croaked." And now Whitaker is going to stab this motherfucker. And Whitaker is just like, Whitaker loses his mind. He runs to the room and he's beside himself, trying to figure out like what he missed, what he could have done differently. And it's Langdon who is there, and Langdon says, "Hey, there is an emergency contact. Should we try to call it?" And when they do call it, it turns out that Louis, of course, his emergency contact was the Pitt itself. And there's something beautiful in that, where he was just like, "I know I've got problems. Like, if you need me, like, it's the Pitt." And there's also a picture of a wife. And Langdon says, "I didn't even know the guy was married." And Whit's like, "Yeah, I didn't know that either." So that is earlier when I was saying Whitaker was trying to talk to Santos about something and Santos isn't really paying attention. That's what he was trying to talk to her about. He's trying to talk to her about Louis' passing, and Santos is just, tired, basically. The end of the episode is the debrief. And they're all around Louis. Ogilvy's there, which I was like, fuck this guy. Robbie's there, Whit's there, the nurses are there, except for Dana, who says, somebody's got to hold down the fort while you guys are there. And I think that's just her not wanting to, be there in the room. Yeah, for her, it'll be a little bit more private. Rob, they're all telling stories. And I thought it was very interesting the way they introduced Langdon into the room and into the scene. And for Robbie to see that Langdon was there, was Langdon saying, "How many times did he tell us he was going to quit drinking?" And it's, Langdon has the addiction issue.
Yeah.
And, but the moment where it all turns is when Langdon shows people the picture. And it's Robbie who knows the story.
Yeah.
And Robbie tells us that Louis had a wife. They were not that keen on having children. The wife talked him into it. and he was a groundskeeper for years at a stadium. And she gets pregnant, and a few months before the baby's due, they died in a car crash. And the implication is, and when Robbie tells his story, he says it was 5 years ago that he was told the story. So when it actually happened was probably 15, maybe 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But the implication is that from that is what caused the alcoholism. And, there's a lot of things that could be said about the root causes of alcoholism, the idea of it being a disease, the idea of it being genetic and hereditary. But in some people, if we ascribe to that belief, in some people, it is just the idea of you need to just have that one bad day. And it reminded me of Batman: The Killing Joke, where they're saying, like, what's the difference between Joker's saying to Bruce, like, what's the difference between you and me? It's like, we just had a bad day. You answered the call. You like your response to your bad day was this. My response to my bad day was that. That's the only difference between us. But really all it is it's the bad day. And he's trying to give Jim Gordon the bad day in that storyline. But here, for Louie, it really was just that bad day. And that's what finally caused the snap. And he probably, you know what? He probably was able to better control the alcohol intake because of the wife. Either because he knew about like having her around, or also what she herself did to kind of keep him in line and keep him in check and to help him. And without that grounding rod, Louie was lost. And it's fascinating to think about the idea of somebody's life kind of being lost, but 20 years ago, right? Or 15, whenever it was.
Yeah.
But that's really what it was. And it was a slow decline from then. And what's beautiful about it is, or beautiful about this moment, this scene, is the way that earlier Dana was telling Emma about how they leave the hand out so that family can hold on. And it's Emma who takes the hand. And Emma now fully realizing what Louie meant to the members of the pit, to the ER, day shift, night shift, afternoon shift, whatever. It's beautiful because Emma only knew him for a couple hours, but he had become family.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why the pit was the emergency medical contact, and the reason why it doesn't matter that nobody's going to come and claim Louie's body, is because Louie already was claimed.
Yeah.
He's part of the Pitt's family. And it's just a beautiful ending. It's a beautiful scene. It's a beautiful storyline.
Yeah. Or side character too.
It's a reminder of the mortality. It's a reminder that choices in life can affect us. We can hope and pray that seeing somebody like Louie will help somebody like Langdon fight against the urge and fight against the, appeal to the better angels versus the lesser demons. But what were your thoughts on Louie's passing, how it impacted the story, the episode, our final scene, all of it?
Man, it was very tough, and especially because like you knew they were building up to the episode for when they finally said goodbye to Louie, and it was just so rough because it's like Louie was just like a good gag character in season 1. He was just there to break the tension and just ask for a sandwich every time and stuff. You're just like, all right, Louie, like you're gonna get your sandwich. But he was fun. He wasn't annoying, and you can tell it's just like when you learn about his backstory, and it's just like he had everything. Like he definitely had everything, and then finally, like you said, one bad day happens, and everything that he was trying to fight for, when you have a woman that you love and you have a kid that's on the way, and they always thought, and especially because the earlier episodes were building up, this whole, like the earlier episodes built this up even more, of talking about fatherhood and how much being a father is important, especially like some people will look at the scene with the bead kid and say, well, what was the point of that? Well, there was a point in it because you can see what happens when fathers have children and stuff, and they have these kids that they have to raise and protect. Louis was hopefully to be, like he was a guy that didn't want to have kids, and this wife changed his mind. This woman changed him as a person, and the anchor was cut off, and he was a sink. And probably before her coming into his life, he was a sinking ship, or a ship stranded at sea, and she was the anchor that helped that ship stay at sea and make it where he wasn't lost at sea. He felt grounded, and losing her made it feel like, what was the point of it? What's the point of anything? Because and then the worst part is losing her and not only the unborn children to an accident. You didn't get to say any final words. You didn't get to say anything. You didn't have proper closure. There's always stuff that happens when someone dies in that certain way where you just go like, you didn't get to tell them I love you one last time. Like, that's the part that hurts the most. And that's probably something that Louis, runs through his head. Like, what's the point? Like, and he doesn't want to get hurt anymore. Like, yeah, sure, he could have, like, everyone's like, oh, well, why is it? Dude, when you go into that situation and you're about to have a kid, why the hell would you want to find love again? Why would you want to? Yeah, you're going to close your doors for a little bit. And for Louis, his anchor was gone, and he was just a ship lost at sea at that point, where he just decided that, hey, you know what? All this caring and love, like, what's the point of it? It ended up hurting me. So he turned to alcohol, and that was the only way that he felt happy, which is sad. Like, it's sad that, but it does happen to people. I've seen it before with someone who lost someone that they love, and unfortunately they're still battling with it. And it's been 7 years. And, like, people sometimes will say, move on from it. And it's like, you don't understand until you've been through it. Like, that's what I always tell people. It's like certain situations you will never understand until you've been through it. Until you sit through it. Like, that's why sometimes I always tell people, it's like, it's kind of a blessing that I had a serious disease happen to me in my young 20s instead of like, because like I understand life so much more differently than a lot of other people, where I'm like, no, you don't understand what someone's going through. And it's up to that person. And the thing that I've learned the most, it's up to those people to cure themselves. It's not up to you, or you can be a support person, but you can't carry
that cross for them.
Yeah, exactly. Let that person, if they're not willing to make changes, if they're not willing to better themselves, if they're not willing to take the proper steps to heal, that's on that person. And unfortunately, you have to sometimes give up on that person. And it sucks to say that and stuff. And yes, unfortunately, yes, if you want to think I'm a bad person, I had to give up trying to help my one buddy, because he unfortunately is still in his own way and stuff. And will I forgive him? Absolutely. When he's ready to take the steps necessary to do so, I'll welcome him back in as open arms as a brother. But as of right now,
I mean, as you're saying it, I mean, I wouldn't hold anything against you. It's the idea of self-preservation. There's only so far that you can continue to support somebody,
and I know
it's detrimental to yourself.
It's just like Louis' situation. He had someone, unfortunate accident happened and stuff, out of his control and stuff, and he blamed himself. And like, at first I felt he was doing well and stuff, and then afterwards he just started going to the bar more often, and then he started drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking, and now he's unrecognizable. Like, this guy used to be fit, healthy, all this other stuff, and then just now he's like, I wouldn't say he's fat, like he's still like, like he's just like not in the best shape that he should be. He has moments where like some of my gym buddies will say, oh, he's starting at the gym again, and then he stops after like 2 weeks, and then he's back on the bottle and everything and stuff. Like, we try our best to like do events with him and stuff, but then it's always like, yo, let's start drinking. And then it's just like, you're like, fuck, I'm now
where it's gonna go.
Yeah. And then you're like, fuck, I'm an enabler. Like he pretty much wanted to go out because he wanted an excuse to drink with someone. He wasn't just like trying to hang out with me. He was like looking for a buddy to drink with him and stuff. And it's like, it sucks. It sucks when that happens to a person. And especially for like Louis, it's like, he just gone so far down to the path that it was just like, he knew it was irreparable. Like, he knew it was only a matter of time for Louis and stuff. But like, he was still at least trying to, preserve his life as best as possible. Like he wasn't like he was trying to kill himself. He was literally trying, like he would go to the
Yeah.
pit very often. So he clearly wanted to live. It's just that he didn't want to live a happy life. Like
Yeah.
his life was different than most. And like,
And
it's hard. It's
one
tough.
of the other things is like we don't, and I think this is also a beautiful thing about the pit is that we don't fully get all the whole story, right? Like, because you
Yeah.
could easily, like, we could easily be like, well, people lose spouses and unborn children, or spouses and children, all the time, and don't turn to a bottle. What was like what? And then we find out that, for all we know, the reason why they were in that car crash is because they were the reason why they were in the car at that point in time and was because of Louie.
Yeah,
Like maybe she was going. Maybe
work.
she was coming to pick him up from work. Maybe
Exactly.
she was, doing something or other, or whatever the case was, and it had something to do with. And he blames himself.
Yeah.
I put her there. I allowed her to be there. Or maybe they were talking and they were like, oh, we gotta run to the store and we're out of milk or we're out of eggs or whatever the case is. And she goes, I know I'm pregnant, but it's fine. Like I'll just go do it. Like you take a rest. You work a lot. Like you as a groundskeeper for this stadium. You just take a
yeah, and especially at that time,
and that's why she's in the car. And so then he's like, if I had just gotten the fucking eggs instead of her, maybe somebody still is dead, but she's alive.
Yeah,
my
exactly.
child's alive, right? And like I can. Most guys who are married or in long committed relationships would easily make that trade. Say, like, take me.
I think most men, we want to die before our spouse.
Like I've said, like I think I've said to you before, like my biggest fear is in dying, or my biggest fear surrounding death is the idea that I have not done enough to take care of Colleen and whatever children we have, or just Colleen. That's my biggest fear in life.
Yeah,
would be like, when I pass away, I'm not making sure that my wife's taken care of. I would feel as though I didn't do my job at the end of the day.
Yeah, so because with the pit, it's like you said, we don't know the whole story, and that's what makes the show so great, is that you can kind of interpret. Like it's a very open-end show where you can interpret a lot of things and try to figure out. And back in the day, like I'm sure Louie was making really good money being a groundskeeper. I think he was a groundskeeper for like the Pittsburgh Steelers stadium and stuff. And so it's like back in the day, like, yeah, he's probably doing a lot of hard work. It's like it's much more upkeep that they have to do with the football field and stuff, and whatever else that he had to do around the stadium. He was probably making the money for the family, especially if it was like, let's just say like when he was working at that job in the 70s or the 80s. Yeah, he's making a great living. And of course the wife, is going to be a supportive wife to her husband, especially because that was like the cultural norms at the time, where it was like, oh, my husband is bringing in the money, so let me go help the husband any way we could. Like you said, for all we know, the accident, Louie blames himself for that accident to this very day. We don't know. We don't get into that psyche. We just know the one fact presented to us is that he fell into a spiral because of it. But what caused the spiral? So you can have all these discussions and stuff and stuff. And I think a lot of people are more on the side, like how you said it, where it's like they believe Louie blames himself for it instead of just looking at it. And that's where, you see more of Ogilvy, where it's like, hey, man, this is where human empathy has to come in, because you don't know the whole story. You don't know what someone is going through on a day-to-day basis. Like that's where empathy is important, because a lot of people in life, like they always will think they're the main character. They have like the main character syndrome. They think they're the protagonists of whatever world we're in and stuff. Well, ultimately, you're one of a billion people on this planet, and you don't know what everyone else is going through. Like a lot of my coworkers don't know that I have like health issues and shit. They don't know and stuff. Like my bosses know, because I just in case of an emergency happens. Yeah. But I remember one time I was having like a hard time, like because I was getting put on all these pills and stuff, and I was getting so frustrated. And I was just like, I was talking to my boss, and I told her, I'm like, man, I just feel so weak that I have to take all these pills again and stuff as that. Mm-hmm. And she goes, oh, Chase, I don't view you as weak. Like she goes, honestly, Chase, you never told me anything about this and stuff. I would just think, yeah, he's a good worker. She goes, now my respect for you is like tenfold, because I'm like, I don't know how he deals with all this, and he's still a good worker. Like she goes, she goes, I remember she said this to me. She goes, I'd rather have you come in at 50% than half the workers here at 100%. And she goes, and I don't even think I've ever seen you at 100. And this is when I was like before I had like a stomach issue last year and stuff. And so they were just giving me all this medication because they thought it was my colon. It turned out to be my stomach. Whole ordeal situation. Sometimes the doctors aren't the best. Not my main doctor. I'm talking about some of the other doctors I dealt with. And
Sure.
but yeah, so like because like you know when you're someone and you're taking all these medications and shit, it's taxing, bro. Like everyone thinks it's like dude, it sucks. Like I fucking hate having like you know how bad it is that like one of my major skills is that I can just dry swallow pills. Like I'm so used to taking pills. I don't need water. I can just pop them in my mouth and just swallow them because I'm so used to taking pills for the last Jesus, almost going on 10 years. Yeah, 10 years pretty much. Almost 10 years to this time frame. Yes, 100%. Yes. Yeah, I got diagnosed in like April, May. So yeah, 10 years, almost 10 years of doing this shit, taking pills and whatnot. But yeah, a lot of people, they don't know that. And it's like the thing is, it's like, yeah, it's like I go through this, but I don't fucking know what else everyone else is going through. And so that's why you have to have human empathy. It's not like, oh, woe is me. I battled through all this. Like, yeah, it's cool. I battled through all this. I'm still fucking alive. I'm still doing it and stuff. Like, yeah, why was I thinking I'm weak that I have to take all these pills? When someone obviously that I respect said, like, I just don't know how you do it. And she admires the fact that I'm able to do it. It's just like, wow, I didn't think of it like that. I was being selfish in that moment. And yes, you're going to have selfish moments every so often in life. That's life. You want to be selfish sometimes. Like, trust me, customers get mad that they can't get their $10 Kohl's cash. Like, what's your problem? Like, what are you doing? But yeah, no, like, it's just like human empathy is important because you just got to understand just because the way you live life does not mean other people have to live that life. And you have to understand that people battle through certain demons and we always don't know what those demons are. And we don't know how to sometimes overcome those demons. Sometimes you see success stories of people overcoming their demons and it's awesome. It's great. You love it. But sadly, for all those great stories that you hear, for every one great story of someone overcoming their demons, there's sadly 10 other people who never overcome their demons. For every one, there's always 10 that never overcome the demons. And that's something that you always got to look at in life too, when it's just like, when you think like this, and this, just remember, like I always like to say, like sometimes when I'm I'm just like, I just think about could be worse. I could not have I could not have a roof over my head. I could not have family that would take me in to help me out during my medical condition and stuff. Like it always makes me sad when I hear when I talk to my friends and I hear they're not close with their parents anymore. And that like I don't budge in because I don't know their lives and stuff. But that always makes me sad because I'm like, damn, dude, like I could not imagine not being close with my mom. Like that would just hurt me. And the fact that she has helped me so much as I've been recovering from my health issues and everything, like allowing me to move back in at certain points to, make sure that like I was good and healthy, being someone that, moved back to this place to help me like when I needed it instead of living in the place where she currently bought like her dream. Like it's just awesome that I have someone like that to make a sacrifice.
And that's what I think is a beautiful kind of symbolism, right? Like a beautiful kind of thing there is that is what you're describing now. We're kind of bringing it back full circle. Is that's the husband with Roxy, right? And in the case of Louie, like you can tell that Louie loved his wife so much, but he was robbed of that ability. He was robbed of the ability to do.
And like we said, they built up this whole fatherhood thing.
Yeah. But like he was robbed of all of it because he killed in a car crash. And to your point, like the idea of people being able to say goodbye. Louie didn't get a chance to say goodbye. I'm sure, and I know this because like I think of it because I know people who have passed away. But like there are times where something pops into your head and you go, man, I wish when I had said goodbye to this person that I'd also said this, or just a memory pops up, something like that. Louie doesn't even have the ability to say, do that. Like he doesn't even have the ability to say, I should have said this. It's always just, I wish I'd had the ability to say anything. So it's, it is absolutely a reminder to all of us to try to have empathy for each other. And what a beautiful way to do that. Um, if the show gets nominated for either way, between the show getting nominated for best drama or uh, Robbie Noah Wiley getting nominated for
Oh,
best actor,
he's gonna.
it's like they're gonna use the scene here when he does the speech at the end, or there's got to be something that's coming up, because like that, I think, to me, would probably be the best one. Right.
I feel like, don't they give like an? I know they've added some words. Don't they give like a best ensemble scene or something like that, or
Yeah,
like
yeah,
best,
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
this should be like in the nominations for best ensemble scene or something like that, because like this was such a strong scene and stuff, and especially like the newer character understanding the impact and the love that they had for Louie and stuff. Like, yeah, no, this was just such a this is the best episode. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, like, and I'm talking about all the Pit,
That's
all
what I
of
was
the Pit.
about to. That's why I said, let me take a look, because it's got a 9.0 on 9.0 on, what's it called?
Yeah,
The
there's probably just low reviews because everyone's like, oh, this Jackson storyline again. You just get to Louis. Fuck is this?
Okay, hold on. There is an ooh, wow. Okay. Okay. All right. So, in season 1, the when they're trying to the episode where they're trying to resuscitate the little girl who drowned, trying
Um,
to save her sister, and the start, I think it's the start of Robbie, or it might be when they take the tube out for the guy who's the brother
yeah,
and sister who are like keep. I think that episode is a 9.2. Then 9.6 is the start of the
Pit Pest.
Pit Fest shooting, like all the people coming in. Episode 12, that got a 9.6. Then episode 13 also got a 9.6. I think that's Robbie trying to save the girlfriend's life.
Yeah, that's probably, that's like, for me personally, this is my, I think this is the best Pit episode.
and
I think.
then and then episode 50, the finale, got a 9.1. And then right now in season 2, 9.0 is the one we are discussing right now. And then also, and that's the highest so far for the season.
Yeah, no, this is my overall. I think this is the overall best episode of the Pit. But the Robbie trying to save the girlfriend is definitely like
Oh,
my
and
number
I
two.
just yeah.
Yeah, it's such a strong episode. It's stuff like it's so strong. It's like, but this one is just like, if you just want like a good empathy episode, a good
Yeah.
episode about like it's so strong.
The other thing I think that's beautiful about it is, like, you don't, even if you were like, it's something that is contained in the sense of, if you just wanted to watch it, as soon as you start watching it, you're like, oh yeah, I remember Louis, I remember everything that happened with Louis, and so on and so forth, and you're right into it, right? Like, it's not something where you need to have background information.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they kind of cover pretty much what you would need to know for Louis over the course of the season, or so for the course of the episode. But rest in peace, Louis. I hope he finally found the character, finally found the peace, and was reunited with his wife and unborn child. Remember, guys, to if you are struggling with addiction, there are resources, there are people out there are friends and family that care about you. And take care of yourselves. Like I always say that when we finish either this or True Picks or True Off Season. Remember, guys, take care of yourselves and each other. That's our. I mean, which I'm admittedly stole from Jerry Springer, of all places. But like there is a value to that. There's a truth to it. But I think that'll do it for us for today.
Right.
Chase, let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, you guys can follow me on X at Chase Oliver 68. Around the point when I want to come on to talk about wrestling, I barely watched Dynamite last night, so I'm not showing up for the Dynamite review today. But maybe in the future, I'm so behind on some wrestling too. Like I just know that Obafemi killed a security guard. Like he just tossed him, and then the guy broke his tailbone. Looked like he did.
It's crazy. They're making him look like a monster just so he can lose to Brock Lesnar.
No, I don't think he losing, bro. Honestly, they should Goldberg him. Have it where he goes, he beats Brock, and then Raw after Mania. You know Roman's not sticking around. Like, come on, like this guy.
Oh,
It's
a returning Braun Breaker in a couple months versus Obafemi. That'd be interesting. But
you're expecting Triple H to book that? Like, no. But I would literally book it where he beats Brock, and then afterwards Roman comes out after WrestleMania after beating Phil, talks his shit, and says like, "There's no one on this roster."
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like Obafemi would then have to beat Roman, and then
he beats him that night, and then
I know, I'm agreeing with you. But then I'm saying, like a month or so later, 2 months later, it's going to be Oba versus Braun. What are you going to do unless they delay Braun by
Braun has this long-term storyline with Seth, buddy. SummerSlam night 1, deal with it.
And you guys can catch me here on True Hilliard Sports Entertainment talking about a whole bunch of stuff. I know we've got more True Headphone Heat coming up. Album review coming soon tomorrow. I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of controversy.
Talking about Kanye West album.
Yeah. I'm sure there's going to be some controversy as we do that.
Did you like it?
What?
Did you like it?
I see. The thing is, I listen to music for different things. Like I'm not like I haven't expected great Kanye West lyrics since like Watch the Throne. So the lyrics don't really matter to me. I care way more about the production aspect of it and the beats and the music aspect. So like from that perspective.
So do you love 808 and Heartbreaks? When
it originally came out, no, but it absolutely grew on me within like a year or so. I would say
RoboCop is one of my favorite songs.
Yeah, because like and the thing is, what I like there is like, speaking of like, I'm not really paying attention. I'm not really interested in the lyrics. What I liked there was how he used his voice as an instrument, because something that I think was brilliant pointed out to me. I forget who was talking about it. It was some rapper was talking about it, and I forget who it was. And I got to remind myself who it was. But long story short is they were pointing out that they'll go overseas and people will be rapping the bars line for line, bar for bar to them while they're at this concert, but they won't be able to speak English. And the idea there is that they are learning the lyrics as the lyrics themselves are a form of percussion. It's a form of an instrument. We just don't think about it because we understand English. But if you listen to other albums or other music from other languages, then you would start to better understand the idea of it being percussion or being another instrument. Or like, for example, for me, if I were to listen to Bad Bunny or reggaeton or something like that, I don't speak Spanish like that. I know words here and there, but I don't speak it. So it becomes a instrument in and of itself. So from that perspective, I did really like 808 and Heartbreaks. Just the idea of like using the taiko drums with 808s and mixing it and finding.
Well, hopefully in the future, Stacky and I will also discuss our Spider-Man film rankings.
So update on that. Yeah. I asked Sid to watch the last few minutes of last week's episode. He watched it and he said he is absolutely down to do a Spider-Man review series, but he wants to start it as we get a little bit closer to the actual movie, because the movie doesn't come out till July 31st. It's not even like it's a July thing. It's the end of July.
I really wasn't expecting to start it like until later this year. Not later this year, but of course, when the movie comes out.
I'll give you a heads up now, because he got a heads up when he watched the ending. He is very, very interested to have a conversation with you about the ranking of Spider-Man 3 versus some of the Holland movies. So now you should know. Sid is a very big fan of MCU Tony Stark. Very, very big fan.
I love MCU Tony Stark.
But that's the historic, like, because I'm like, when it comes to the Civil War movie, I'm more on the Cap side and he's more on the Tony side. So we have that. That's also like, he's very
when it comes to Civil War, I read the comic first, and the comic does a good job of making you
Much
see
better,
both.
much better.
Yeah, very, very much better in terms of like why certain superheroes go a certain way. Has the famous scene where Peter Parker reveals he's Spider-Man, and then that leads to Spider-Man's life getting fucked up, and then
Brand new day and all that stuff.
Yeah, and then Dr. Octavius takes over his brain and becomes Superior Spider-Man and shit.
What annoyed me about that movie, among many things, is the fact that they gave the Tree of Liberty speech to Sharon fucking Carter. I was like, what the fuck? What is this bullshit?
Yeah.
Like that is Cap's speech in the comic book. Like that is the speech, and it's like you're gonna give this to Sharon Carter and be like Sharon Carter's influencing this guy. Like no, he doesn't need to be. But anyway,
that's But I'm a big I'm in the middle. I'm very neutral. I'm Switzerland, where I understand the Sokovian rights. Like I do believe in them, but I get where Captain America is saying, where like, hey, like what, we have to wait until you call us before we can actually be heroes? What if something happens and stuff? Like,
yeah.
I understand both point of views and stuff, but no, I'm a huge, one of my favorite scenes ever in Marvel is literally like at the end of Iron Man. They're like, hey, what should we do? Blah blah blah, and he goes, and then he just admits, I'm Iron Man. It's like, what? It's like, oh, it's one of my favorite scenes in all. No, I'm a huge fan of Tony Stark too and stuff, but no, Spider-Man 3. Look, I'm not gonna.
You gotta save for the rankings.
I'm just saying, like, I get it. It's just my opinion. Like, I personally like that movie a little bit more than other Spider-Man movies. Like, I'm sorry. Like, we're comparing it to Spider-Man 1 and 2. I mean, punch me, I bleed. Like, that's the only thing you need to watch, and you're just like, you're just like, oh. No, I'm down for the review series for sure, dude. Because like I've actually already rewatched some of the Spider-Man movies and stuff to kind of. We're just doing the live actions, right? We're not gonna have to watch. We're not gonna do, even though Spider-Verse, both of them are like 9 out of 10 movies.
I saw the first one. I haven't seen the second one from that.
Oh, the second one's really good. It's such a shame that like production has resulted in
the delays.
Like,
I know.
Yeah, it's so annoying because like they ended on such a strong cliffhanger and stuff. But yeah, no, I like Spider-Man's my favorite hero and stuff. A lot of the Spider-Man games are my favorite games. So Edge of Time, Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 2, the original, not the new one that came out, like where there's a pizza time theme and the girl's like, my balloon. You have to help me kill. And I don't know how to get this balloon, and she's just crying that her balloon popped and stuff.
But alrighty, guys.
Spider-Man.
That's gonna do it for us.
Best line in Spider-Man 2, the new one.
We want to thank you all for tuning in to this week's episode of Clocking In for the Pitt Season 2, Episode 6, 12 p.m. Rest in peace, Louie. Remember, take care of yourselves and each other. We'll catch you all later.